Oh, I am sorry. Where were we? Safaria. Let's learn. Alright. We were learning Kedushas Levi. I'm a little tired. Let's learn the third Torah from Kedushas Levi. Parshas. Balak. We learned the first two. Let's just learn it quickly. And we don't have to translate everything from Hebrew to English. We're going to look at it. I'll translate without reading the Hebrew. The Bible verse will say in Hebrew, you explain, and now that the people are going to lick up all of our surroundings like an ox licks up the grass of the field. So we have to explain, what does it mean that the ox is going to lick us up? So you got to see what Rashi says there, but before that, let's explain last week's parshas Chukas, in the book of Numbers, chapter 21, verses 27, 28, 29. And therefore the parable speakers will speak out and say, let's go to Heshbon. May the city of Sichon be built and established. Oh, woe unto you, the people of Chemosh. And it will give their sons to be refugees and their daughters to be captives to the king of the Amorites, to Sichon. So you have to explain, what does it mean that the city should be built and established? Wasn't the city already built? Rather, now it became Sichon's city, so therefore it should be now it's become the city of Sichon. Furthermore, to say that he's giving his sons to be refugees and his daughters to be prisoners. Again, I'm very tired. It's mesirus nefesh for Torah here, right here. That's the real thing. Lifting up sparks. So we know that concerning sons, it says pleta, refugee status, and by the doors it says shvis, to be captured or imprisoned. So we could say that explain it all like what the Gemara says in Gittin, Ammon Moav Tihar b'Sichon. The Ammonites and the Moabites became purified in Sichon. This is Gittin Lamed Chesed Aleph, Gittin 38a. Because Moav himself was not, the Israelites weren't able to conquer them, and they weren't lifted up above the Moabites. It's the main thing of when a wicked person, is lifted up spiritually, that they are lifted up so they should fall by the Israelites, and then Hashem's name is sanctified from this great name is sanctified from his sins. Uh, Moab. All right. So they fall. I'm sorry, I'm getting tired. They fall down through the Jews, and then Hashem's name is a Kiddush Hashem. God's name, great name, is sanctified, and that's what happened with the Moabites, because that's the source of the destruction and the desolation, because he has no way of being lifted up. But that's not the case here, where they conquered Sichon. Cheshbon is the Moabite city, and the Jews conquered it from Sichon, the city of Cheshbon, and then it's considered a Cheshbon now. The Assyrians built, but it wasn't called that. He called it Kilgul for 20 years. That's what it means. Like, not because until now it was called Chorban, now it's called Cheshbon. It's called destruction, now it's called calculation. And this is what it says. Therefore, the ones who tell parables say come to Cheshbon, that Sichon conquered it. And through this, the city of Sichon will be built and established, and now they'll build the city of Cheshbon, which until now was destroyed, and since it's impossible to lift it up, the Jews are unable to take the city. and anything that doesn't have spiritual lifting up and holiness is called destroyed. And then so so they take the city, something that has no way of being lifted up in holiness is called horus, it's called desolate, destroyed. But now that it was conquered through Sichan, it will be built, and it will be built in a way of higher holiness. So now the city of Sichan can be built, and now that it's built, it's lifted up in holiness, and that something that's lifted up in holiness is called built. Because this is written, it will be built. It now it will be built because it was conquered from Sichan, and it could be that this is what. uh, So possible that to come to holiness. So you could come to holiness. That the Israelites conquered it, and it says, "Oh, oi, woe to you, Moab! The people of Chemosh have been destroyed. That you, Moab, you lost this. You could have had." Hallelujah. So, so anyway, let's finish learning this, and then we could go to sleep, right? Moab was destroyed. This is how it was lifted up, and since it's impossible for the Israelites to conquer you and lift up the wicked one, that's his conquer. That's how he's conquered. Like we said above, his sons will be given over as refugees, meaning your children will be your own children will be considered refugees, meaning this saving whatever was given to my to Sichon until Asura. I don't know if they have. So his V'nosan bana platim, and he's giving his sons to be refugees, meaning that your own sons will be considered refugees, meaning that they'll be rescued from what they were given over to Sichon until now. They were prohibited. Moabites cannot enter the congregation of the Lord, but this because they're given over to the Ammonites, the Amorites, so then they became assimilated to them, and now they're permitted because whoever leaves, the two girls come, if they're coming from a kehil like that. So anyway, they're permitted because whoever comes from a majority, whoever is removed from a group is assumed to be from the majority. And this was the Gemara in Brachos, Chav Chesam Aleph says, 28a. For this reason, now the Ammonites and Moabites are permitted to come into the congregation because they're assimilated, and anyone who is removed from a larger community is assumed to be from the larger community. And so they had a little bit of salvation because that they were handed over to Sichon. Not only did the females like Ruth able to convert and become part of the kahal, even the males and their daughters are going into shvis into black ground, quicksand, meaning that it's not the same thing with the girls because they're considered to be captives if they're given over to Sichon, and they're, meaning it's totally negative and they're not refugees, because that little bit of salvation that's possible for them to come into the kahal, the girls already have that without them. They're already mutter, even when they're Moabites, like it says, Moavi v'lemavis, a Moabite, not a Moabite woman. So anyway, let's finish this, because it says Moavi v'lemavis, that the prohibition is only on the males, but not on the females, and so therefore it's good to them that they were left over, that it's permitted to conquer them when they're Moabites, and then they have a spiritual lifting up, elevation, like we said above, that when a wicked person is knocked down and conquered, that is the spiritual lifting up, that the Israelites are lifting up his holy sparks in the time when he destroys them. And this is what we understand now, why the sons are called refugees, Platim, and the daughters are called B'nai Shevis. Maybe it's Shviyam. Alright, thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. See you later.